Hello, hello, hello. Testing, testing. Hello, Emilio. It's a pleasure to have you here. Emilio is the VP Engineering at Aave Labs. Are you enjoying DSS?
Amazing. Thank you guys for having me. It's always a pleasure. I think this is my third DSS. I've been speaking all three. So it's pretty cool. Like we work very closely also with Certora, with Muli. So it's always a pleasure to be here.
What's your favorite part of these events?
The talks are always very interesting. The panels, I've been involved in some panels as well. They are always exciting to. Yesterday there was one was very interesting about the battle of languages, for example. I kind of enjoy this kind of discussion. So yeah, those are very, very enjoyable to watch and to listen to.
Awesome. And for those who don't know, what is Aave?
Who doesn't know? Just kidding.
Feels like a redundant question.
No, just kidding. Like Aave is a DeFi protocol. It's actually one of the largest DeFi protocol by TVL, and the main purpose of the protocol is to allow people to use their cryptocurrencies to borrow against them. So let's say you bought BTC and you believe BTC will still go up. You don't want to liquidate your position, but you need capital. So what you can do is, like, there are a set of smart contracts that were initially developed by Aave Labs, but now there is a DAO of contributors that work around like the system and help maintaining the system and developing it further. So there is this set of smart contracts that you can interact with. You can supply your cryptocurrencies. Usually people use like volatile crypto like ETH or wrapped BTC or Uni as collateral to then borrow stable coins, which then can be used in a variety of ways. You can, the typical use case to leverage further your position, but you can also off-ramp your stable coins to buy a house or a car and still keep your cryptocurrency exposure. And now it's evolving also towards different kind of assets, so tokenized on-chain securities, RWAs, and a variety of different asset classes.
Aave is one of the longest running protocols, one of the most valuable protocols with the highest TVL. So how do you secure that kind of project?
This is an interesting question because the development started a bit in a more centralized way, in the sense that there was one main developer and maintainer, which was Aave Labs, that I work for. But then the DAO evolved. Also, it's not only a decentralized system in terms of technology, but it's also a decentralized system in terms of social contribution. So we have a variety of service providers that help develop tools around the protocol or extend the protocol itself. And there are also large subsets of security procedures that we have in place. We have security practice that every contributor needs to agree upon to be able to develop like code to the security standards that are needed for something like Aave. Like the DAO is engaged with a variety of security providers. Certora is one of them that help verifying the code and ensure that there is the lowest risk of bugs possible. It's never zero, of course, but like the DAO tries to do the best that is possible to make sure that the code is as secure as it can be.
What is the biggest challenge when it comes to making sure the security standards are followed by this decentralized contribution model to the development of the protocol?
I would say that like there are quite a few challenges. They can go from code quality to DAO standards and DAO practices, for example. So one of the challenges that we have is make sure that every governance proposal, which is not necessarily always a code upgrade, but it can be execution of a certain function, for example, for risk management or for treasury management and so on and so forth. So make sure that DAO proposals are always implemented in the right way, that they are not malicious, that they don't contain bugs, and so on and so forth. So in that situation, there are a variety of tools that were built by the community. So for example, we have this tool that is called Seatbelt, which actually extend one tool originally implemented by Uniswap Labs. And we extended it further to be able to adapt to the Aave ecosystem. So this Seatbelt tool analyzes the governance proposal, analyzes storage layout changes, analyzes like storage value changes to make sure that, for example, if it's a risk parameter configuration, actually changes the parameters that were supposed to be changed and not others. There are like security reviews practices in place by both BGD Labs and Aave Labs, and sometimes from also Certora and risk managers. It's something that we could talk for hours, but like, yeah, I think I made like a reasonable picture of how it works.
Yeah, so basically, there's a lot that goes in it, and a lot of custom things that you guys need to worry about, and a lot of layers to it as well. And why did you guys decide to support DSS this year?
Because I think it's important we believe it's important to promote like the culture that like puts security, when we talk smart contracts, that puts security always in the first place, like in front of everything. So in my opinion, like some people make the analogy between smart contracts and hardware. They say like developing a smart contract is more akin to building hardware rather than software. I'm not sure I completely agree. There is a term for the degree of security that we need to ensure for smart contracts, which is mission critical software. So we have mission critical software not only is very common in automotive industry, in aerospace industry, and machine development, and so on and so forth, for industrial usage, because those machines, like, you cannot make mistake in the software that controls, like, that has of the control system of a plane, because of course you risk of a plane crash and hundreds of people could die, right? So you cannot make mistakes. Same thing for a probe that goes to Mars. Like, you upload the software, and most of the time, like, the changes that you can apply the software once the probe is on Mars are pretty limited what you can do. So those kind of industries have a history of building code that is reliable and is as bug-free as it can be. And I think smart contract development is pretty close. Like, we are up there with this kind of use cases and this kind of industries. And like, building smart contracts needs to be up there if we want to make sure that we build a financial system that is durable and is immutable and is strong enough to sustain billions of, hundreds of billions of assets and millions of users.
What are some practices and habits or lessons that we can get from these industries that have been running for longer than crypto?
Well, actually, we took a lot of inspiration from when we started initially hardening our development practices and security practice. For example, NASA has like a very comprehensive development guidelines that are actually public, that you can read about them, you can study them, like, and they have very, very comprehensive documentation online that you can check and to understand the way they develop software. Not everything, I think, like, it was my first DSS talk, like 3 years ago, about this in San Francisco. And the way we took inspiration from their way of implementing secure software. Not everything was directly applicable, because of course the area of application is different, but many things were a very good inspiration for us to start writing more secure software.
Awesome. And what can we expect from Aave going to 2025?
A lot. There is a lot on the plate. We are building Aave v4, which is the fourth iteration of the Aave protocol, which is expected, I think, end of Q2, beginning of Q3 2025. In the meantime, there is a lot to be being built in the DAO by other service providers in parallel. There is the umbrella upgrade coming for new tokenomics and like a new better integration for Go with the Aave protocol, new safety module. There is really a lot. I even hard to keep track. For me, that's how much stuff is being built at the moment.
A lot of exciting stuff coming up then.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Emilio, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for supporting us. It's been
Amazing.
a pleasure.
Thanks, guys, for having me, and see you next year.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.